Thank you everyone for joining us today. I'm your host Sumit Swami along with Kara Mccomb as my co-host. We both are liaison and recruitment officers here at Northern College, and welcome to our 5th episode of Navigating Northern. 5 weeks and we're still doing it. It's amazing. And we have more and more attendees every time. So it makes us very happy that our hard work has been showing off. This week's topic is one of the most important ones. We are going to be learning about distance education for international students. We'll be discussing a lot of topics with our Manager of International Operations, Edna, as well as our Director of Technology and Learning Innovation. And we will talk about how this virtual classroom will look like and how we can help you while you are studying from your home and from your small, tiny screens of computers. Again, just to remind you that there is no audio or video option for the viewers in this webinar because of the hosting purposes. But if you still have any suggestions, any ideas, any questions, you can always type it at the chat box below. If you select panelist, it will only come to us. But if you have something that you want to discuss with everyone, you can select everyone from the drop-down menu too. To avoid repetition, Kara will be sorting all the questions coming in today, and we will try to answer as much as questions as we do as from the last 4 episodes that we did. Plus, we will be also recording this webinar so that if you're not able to attend it this time, you can always go through our website and you'll find our recordings there. It usually takes maybe 24 to 48 hours to get it uploaded after the webinar is done. So latest by Friday, you will have the webinar there that was done on Wednesday. Let's start off with a roundtable introduction where we'll say our name, what position we work at the college, what exactly we do in that position, and how will our students, the viewers, get benefited from the work that we do at Northern College. I'll start first, and then we'll go with Kara, and then we'll go with Glenn and Edna. So that would be the format that will follow through the webinar. So I'm Sumit Swami, the Liaison and Recruitment Officer here, but I usually take care of the northern part. So anything that is north of Huntsville, I take care of that part. When I say I take care of that part, I go to high schools, I go to events, I go to seminars, and I talk about the college, what we have to offer, what are the things that you can get benefited from Northern College. Any question related to Northern College, if you're north of Huntsville, you are talking to me. And the other thing is, it's a lot of fun to be in this job. We travel a lot. Usually I travel alone, but there are times and places where Kara and I can travel together. Those are the most fun times that we have. We decide how we're going to do it. We have special menus sometimes. So we go to a particular city and we think, okay, this is what we want to eat. So we have this amazing, exciting plan that we follow. And it's so much fun. Let's go to you, Kara.
Sure. So hi, everybody. My name is Kara Mcomb, and I am also a domestic liaison and recruitment officer, but I take care of Southern Ontario. So like Sumit said, anything north of Huntsville, that's him, and anything south of Huntsville is me. So it's quite hard. So we travel, like Sumit said, high schools, community events, basically anywhere that we can speak to students or, guidance, parents, and just help them to answer any questions that they do have about Northern College. Okay, Edna or Glenn? I can't remember the order. Sorry, Sumit. Glenn.
All right, I'll go next. So good afternoon, everyone. My name is Glenn Mcdougall. I'm the director of the IT department here at the college and responsible for our online learning systems, which I'll be giving you a bit of an intro to in a few moments. The IT department here provides support to all the faculty, all the staff, and all the students that attend the college, whether they be here in person or online.
All right, I guess it's my turn now.
Yes.
Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Edna John, the Manager of International Operations. Basically, I'm looking after everything about international students, especially new intake international students from your recruitment, from international student recruitment, and to when you arrive at college, register for your program. So I guess I got a lot of questions today for myself. But again, thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Edna. So Glenn has to go a little bit early because he actually was nice enough to give us this kind of time to do this webinar. He already has a lot of meetings. He's a busy man. So we will go with you first, and we'll ask the questions with you, and then whenever it's okay for you, you can leave the webinar. Edna would be here for the whole webinar, and we can have questions for her. If you have any questions for Glenn during the webinar, you can send it to Kara, and Kara will try to kind of answer those questions during the webinar. But let's say if you're not able to answer those questions, for sure we'll ask Glenn and we'll get back to you, and your questions will be always, as usual, answered. So let's go with some of the questions that I have. These are the questions that are commonly asked questions during Kara and I, we go for our recruitment presentations and travels. So I'll start with you, Glenn. And the first question, which seems to be the most important question for international students, and that would be, how will Northern College be helping students for technological support during this COVID-19 pandemic while they're taking their classes pretty much on the other end of the globe, and they're in a different country, different time frame. They're also having internet maybe limitations. So how will Northern College take care of that, and what are the resources that we have in place to help them out?
Okay, sure. So, I mean, certainly these are exceptional times, as I think we all know. Our preference would be, under normal circumstances, that students would be invited to come to campus and take their programs here along with many other students. However, for this fall semester here in the province of Ontario, most of the colleges, in fact, all of the colleges, are offering pretty much all of their programming, very few exceptions, to be delivered online for the fall semester. At this point in time, we are anticipating that for the winter semester, which for us begins in January, we will be offering our programming on campus, and students will be expected to come and participate in a meaningful way. However, for the fall semester, for the most part, that's not really possible. So a tremendous amount of work has gone in to ensure that all of our courses are ready for delivery in a 100% online format. In some cases, this will be synchronous, and what we're doing right now is synchronous. This is happening in real time for you and for us. In other times, it'll be asynchronous, where students will be provided access to course information and can work on it at their own time and in their own way, at their own pace. Notwithstanding the fact, there still will be schedules, so you may have assignments that are due by Saturday evening or something of that sort, but you wouldn't have to be online at a specific time. Each of our faculty are making the decision on how best to offer their courses. Now, because there is a significant time delay between us and you, and I believe it's about 8 hours, Sumit?
8.5, yes.
8.5 hours. Anything that is done, much like this session, anything that is done online through video will be recorded. And once it's recorded, it will be uploaded into the course information area so that students can access those recordings later on. So perhaps later that day or the next day, but all of the recordings will be available throughout the semester. So if you wanted to go back and review something that happened in week 1 or in week 2, you would have the ability to do that. This would also allow you, if you want to download the recording because maybe your bandwidth isn't particularly great and viewing these videos in real time, we will be able to compress the videos, and you will have the option to bring them down to your local device for viewing there as well. What I'd like to do, though, the question is, how will Northern College be helping students for technology support? And I can tell you that has already started. So I'm going to share my screen just for a moment, just to guide folks through so that you know where the information can be found. So just bear with me for a moment.
For sure.
While I grab the right screen here.
That's the fun part of it, right? The director of IT comes in, and if he doesn't share the screen, what's the point?
All right, so I'm hoping, I don't know what device you're accessing this webinar on. So if you're doing this from a smartphone, this obviously is going to look very tiny. But can folks confirm that they can see the Northern College main website? And I'm not going to ask you to follow along with me, but what I do want to point out to you is that on the college's main website, at the very top of the screen, there is a link called My Northern Student Portal. And when you click on that link, you basically will be brought, and I will do this, you will be brought to a page that is dedicated to all students that are studying here at the college.
Mhm.
Now, some of this you will have to log in. So if you are a registered student, you would be able to click on My Account and you would see all of the courses that you're registered in. If you have any fees owing, all that information that is relevant to an individual would be found once you log in. However, there is information that is available to everybody all the time, anytime, that does not require logging in. And that would be the link entitled IT Resources and Services. And if you were to click on that link, you will find all the information you need to be successful in your studies here at the college. So in terms of IT support information, we have a 1-800 number for domestic students, Canada-based students, that can dial this number and receive help 7/24, so 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. We are also in the process of engaging with a company located in Bangalore who will also offer IT support for the entire country of India. So no matter where you are located in India, you will have the ability to have chat features and functions to contact IT staff there that will be able to assist you with any technology problems that you might have. That is not set up yet. We're hoping that that will be ready in the next couple of weeks. But on this site, we will have another phone number, a 188 number, a free toll-free number that you'll be able to use within the country, but we'll also have online chat features. So all the support that our domestic students would get, you will also get, and we're trying to make sure it is localized to your environment. And so what I would encourage you to do is just visit this site here. Pretty much everything you need to know about getting started is located here, including the information and emails to the IT help here at the college.
So as Glenn, we are on the same page. My next question was kind of about the same page here too, because this next question talks about BYOD, that is bring your own device. As Northern College is a bring your own device institution, there would be certain requirements that the students need to have, let's say in concern with their computers or laptops or iPads or things like that. So I guess this page will be talking about that. So if you can give us a little bit more information on that part, the second question will also get covered within the same time when we are on the same.
For sure. So all students that study here at Northern College are expected to have a mobile device, laptop or otherwise, that meets the requirements of their program. So even if you were taking face-to-face courses, much of your course material is posted online. So it is available to you anytime, anywhere. So if a professor is giving a lecture and he wants you to have access to the lecture material after class or before class, it is all posted to an online system. So students that come to the college are required to have a mobile device. Unfortunately, a smartphone likely isn't powerful enough to do everything that you would be required to do. So we do have information about BYOD, and BYOD stands for Bring Your Own Device. Many of our domestic students have devices. Many of our international students will bring a device or they will purchase one once they arrive in Canada. And there are many places throughout the Timmins area or the other campuses where you can purchase a device. However, what we have done is we have said that for all of the programs, with the exception of our engineering programs, which require a very powerful device to do the activities, the computer programming and whatnot that would be required, we have stated the minimum specifications that are required on the device that you would bring. So faculty, your professors would have the expectation that you will have a device that is capable of meeting these standards. And that doesn't mean you couldn't get by with a lower end device, but that's really your responsibility to ensure that you can access all of the software and participate in everything. This is especially important for the fall semester, where students will be studying online. You probably would not require a laptop to study effectively online. However, you will require access to technology, to the internet. A smartphone could possibly be good enough to get you through the fall semester. You will be able to access our Blackboard system, which is our learning management system, and you would be able to access the website. However, for those of you that are accessing this particular webinar through your smartphone, you probably can already see that it is difficult to see everything on this page if you're accessing it through a smartphone that is fairly small. So again, I encourage you, go to this page. All the information you need is here. In terms of other support, once you are registered here at the college, we give you access to Microsoft Office 365 account. So you will get free software. Any software that is required for your programs, with the exception of only a couple, is provided to the students, either on our network servers or because we give you access to Office 365. So if you need Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, Access, Outlook, anything that Microsoft makes, including Microsoft Teams, you will have free access to that for the entire time that you are studying here at the college.
So pretty much when I see the specification of those laptop requirements that is supposed to be for the non-engineering students, it's very basic, right? It's a basic computer with an i5 processor, maybe 4 gigabytes of RAM, 256 gigabytes of hard disk, 2 USB ports. I think for the viewers in India, it won't be one of those very expensive laptops that you have to buy. It's pretty much basic. Plus, as Glenn told about that, there is a synchronized and an asynchronized method of online classes too. So you don't have to be online all the time. You can use it with your ease whenever you feel like, you know, usually when I was back home, I thought that during night times, the internet is pretty good because nobody's using it. So maybe you can use it that way to download your classes faster. And the other thing is, Glenn also mentioned, I'm just recapping it because it's going to be such an important piece of information for you guys back home, would be that we might have an online support services that will place in Bangalore. So you'll have a chat option. We will also have an 800 number that you can use. So all that resources will become one unit for you guys to get successful while you are studying from home. So don't feel that you are missing out on something when you are trying to attend your classes online from India, but there are all those resources always there for you to use. And whenever the borders are open up and when you are able to come in, all you're doing is just kind of carry on from the part that you have completed and just going with it. So that brings me to the last question, Glenn, that international students would like to hear. And it's that what is the most important piece of information that you would like to share with all the students who are coming this fall or who are trying to attend their classes through online basis at Northern College? Is there anything that you would like them to know beforehand so that it's very helpful for them to kind of go through this process?
Sure. Well, and remember, our objective and our hope is that everyone is able to travel to Canada, come to the college, and participate in our on-campus programming. We're all working towards that. What we are required to do right now is simply in response to the pandemic as it's occurring in North America and as it's occurring in India. So this studying online, I understand it is not the preferred method for most people. However, it is the reality of our day today. Studying online does require self-discipline. And by that, I mean, when you are here, you will have a class on Wednesday morning at 9 o'clock. You will come onto the campus, you will walk into that classroom, and teaching and learning will happen. It's scheduled. With the online learning, especially if it's asynchronous, it means it's up to you to access the material this week and make sure you pass in your assignments before the due date. So you won't have somebody standing there telling you to do this now. It's going to be up to you to remember to get this done. Schedules will be published. You'll always know what's expected, but it is going to require effort and self-discipline in order to ensure your success.
That's true. So that is one of the most important tips too, guys, that you have to have a little bit of more maturity than you had yesterday, because everything is depending on you, and you are the only sole responsible person to kind of take care of the classes that is being given to you. Do your homework, do your assignment within the time frame, and submit it with your best ability so that you are able to take care of that responsibility that you're taking in. So before we go to Edna, I think, Kara, we have a little bit of more time. If you have any questions that are Glenn specific that has came in, and if you want to ask right now, this would be a good time, because pretty much Glenn has now maybe more 20 minutes. But during that time, Edna would be talking about her piece. So if there are any questions that you feel like it's important and can be thrown out right now, we can do it.
Sure, yeah, so most of the questions were actually just regarding Purez campus and, you know, whether or not they have the same bring your own device, the same requirements for technology. But Edna has let them know in the chat that it is probably best to reach out directly to the Purez campus, but most of them are more geared towards that campus, so.
Perfect. So Edna, let's kind of move the gears towards you a little bit, and let's go with some of the questions that I feel like international students are very, very interested to hear. So the first question that comes out says that, how has COVID-19 affected those who can travel and could be issued a travel support document? And what risks do they have if they are not eligible to travel?
Yes, I believe every one of us know now about the travel restrictions of Canadian government. So basically for international students, any international students, if you want travel at this point of time, you need to meet both of two conditions. The first one will be you must have a valid visa which was approved before March 15th, 2020. The second condition will be your travel must be non-discretionary, or your travel must be essential. So like many students, they got their visa before that date, but they just ignore the second condition. The risk for that, if you just ignore the second condition, you will have the chances to be denied by the Canadian Border Service Agency officer enter a border when you just landed in Canada and get through the customer. So the recent information we got yesterday is that at least 20 international students were denied to entry, and they had to board the flights back to their own country. So this is a really risk. From the college perspective, we strongly suggest students for those, although you got a visa before March 18th, 2020, but if all your courses will be offered online for September, you should stay in your own country and study online. Yeah.
Okay. So pretty much that happened, that some of the students still didn't follow the protocols, and they just kind of took the flight, came here, denied the entry, and were sent back again because of the fact that they were not meeting all the requirements, eh?
Yeah, so if you got your visa before that date, it really depends on how your program will be delivered. Like we still receive from the international department, we receive a certain number of emails every day from students. They said, well, I got my visa before this date, and I'm exempted from the travel restriction. So please send us the travel support documents so we can travel. So we explain every time, but they still insist. I mean, what we can do is we tell you the risk you may have, but if you insist, we cannot refuse to issue a letter, but you will be the person to take the responsibility for your own decision.
That's true. That makes sense. All right, so the next question is kind of the most important one. So students who are online today, kind of pump up your volume to the best, because this is the question that you will be waiting for, and it would be, what programs in fall 2020 require international students to show up over here physically? These are the list of the programs who will allow you to come here, take the classes, even though you'll be following the social distancing and all the protocols for the COVID-19 pandemic. But these are the programs that will allow you to come here. Other programs, if you're not registered with that program, you have to stay home, do the courses online. Let's go.
Yeah, okay. So I already posted the programming information in the chat box at the very top when we just start this session. So I'll repeat the program again. So for Northern College, programs which will require students to physically show up on campus for September 2020 because they have the on-site practice or like you said, the lab course or workshop course. The program are first one, Instrumentation and Control Engineering Technician program, which is located on Haileybury campus. Electrical Engineering Technician on Timmins campus. Multi-Power Technician Automotive Service. Multi-Power Technician Heavy Equipment, both on Timmins campus. Mechanical Technician Industrial Millwright. This program is our Kirkland Lake. Mechanical Engineering Technician on Timmins campus. Welding Engineering Technician Inspection. Welding Engineering Technology. Mechanical Technician Welder Fitter program. Paramedic program. Practical Nursing program. Personal Support Worker program. Medical Laboratory Technician program. So these are the programs we require students who got their visa before March 18th, 2020 to travel to the college in September for the on-site study. We based our data in our international OCAS application system. We already pre-screen the students who reported us their visa status. For those who meet the condition, we already issue the travel documents or package to them. But if we miss any, that means you haven't updated your visa status in our system if you already got a visa before March 18th approved. So what you have to do is you haven't received this travel package, but your program is one of the programs I just announced. And then you need to send an email to international@northern.on.ca to contact us immediately so that we can issue the travel package and you can, travel to Canada for your September study. Yeah.
Okay, so it has to be, the visa is supposed to be issued before 18th March 2020.
Yeah.
And it has to be one of those programs.
Yes.
If any of those conditions is not being met, you still have to kind of take the classes online, wherever you are from, and then maybe come back whenever it's allowed to come in and travel internationally, correct?
Yes, yes.
Now, the other question also arises is that if a student is studying online, has the offer letter and everything, do they still need a valid study permit to study online from their home?
Yes, so I'm going to answer this question based on the pre-COVID-19 situation and the current situation. So international students always can study online before the COVID-19. The difference, the impact will be if you choose to study online in a foreign country and your online part of study is much more than 50% in that country. So you can still get your diploma when you successfully complete your program, but you won't be able to apply for your postgraduate permit. So that means you won't be able to study in Canada after your graduation as an international student. So this is the difference. This is pre with COVID-19. Under current situation, basically it's same. On July 14th, the Ministry of Immigration, they made an announcement about the two-stage visa approval change, temporary change. So that means students who submit their visa application before September 15th, 2020, they have a chance to get their first stage visa letter. That means a principle in approval, approval in principle. What is this letter? This letter is basically a pre-screen of your eligibility to apply for a study permit. We know that due to the current situation, RCC has a very slow speed to processing all the piled up visa application. So this is kind of like the temporary or conditional measure they take to give students the first stage approval first so they can study online. But this is not a guarantee that you are finally approved with your visa application. there's a second stage of examination of your application as well. So the second stage basically is the admissibility assessment of your visa application. So usually in the second stage, they will check your medical exam record, your criminal record, your biometric information. So according to the RCC team in The Hague in India, the webinar information session, most of students, if they got their first stage AIP letter, they should not have a problem at the second stage unless they have some serious like health problems or criminal crimes, those kind of records. So, but still, back to this question, for this September, you can choose to study online before you get your AIP letter. Like that means we assume it takes some time, you know. But you need to weigh in the factor, the risk factor here, that you may not able finally approved with a study permit. That means you can still study online in your own country with your whole program. The only impact to you is that you may not be able to apply for your postgraduate work permit if your study visa application were refused finally. So again, in summary, you can always choose to study online, but the difference will be there's impact on your PGWP application after your graduation.
There is an impact?
There's impact. If you don't have a visa or AIP letter, and you start your online study in September, then there's impact on your postgraduate work permit application. That means you cannot apply or you're not eligible to apply. So this is a difference. A little bit complicated. I'm not sure if I expressed very clearly, but if you have any question, you can just ask.
Of course. They can always email. And asking about questions, Glenn is still with us for maybe almost 10 more minutes. So if you have any questions that you feel is Glenn specific, please send it in the chat box. Glenn is there to also type it out. Don't be shy about the questions, because this is one of those webinars where you have a lot of questions and we want you to kind of send all the questions that you have, no matter how basic it is and how complicated it is, so that we can answer them and help you guys as we can. Again, if you still don't think about a question right now, and if you think about a question maybe tomorrow or 2 hours later, we'll always share email addresses at the end of the day, so you can always reach out to us if you have any specific questions. So coming back to question number 4, and then we talked about a little bit about postgraduate work permit impact. So let's say if the student is studying online overseas for 1 semester or 2 semesters, depending how COVID-19 pandemic goes, what will be the impact on the post-secondary work permit after the program is completed? So let's say a student completed 2 semesters online overseas, 2 semesters here physically without any problems. Would that change anything, or the process will remain the same?
Yeah, so here, first thing is a 50% regulation. If you choose to study in overseas country and you want to work or you want to apply your postgraduate work permit later, then the percentage you can study overseas is maximum 50% of your program. For the remaining 50%, you need to come back to Canada. At that point, your travel will be taken as essential if you already completed 50% of your program in overseas. So at that point, you can travel back to Canada to continue your remaining study. Second thing is you need to submit your visa application before September 15th, 2020. And you need to get the first stage AIP letter. So no matter when your AIP letter, when you receive your first stage visa letter or AIP letter, for example, if you receive in the December of this year, it's still okay. But you need to submit your application before September 15th, 2020. In that case, if you got your AIP letter in the end of the year, your PGWP work permit eligible time were retroactive back to the beginning of your semester, like September 6th, when your semester starts. So, and this, yeah, so basically the impact is still, you can study half of your program or 50% of your program in foreign country, for example, in India. You need to get your AIP letter. You need to submit your visa application before September 15th, 2020. You need to get your AIP letter. So if you meet these three conditions, you are still eligible to apply for your PGWP after your graduation from your program.
Okay, so and if they're a little bit late to get that letter, they don't get eligible, I guess, or the AIP.
No, as long as they submit their visa application before September 15th, 2020.
It doesn't matter when the letter comes in.
Yeah, as long as they finally your AIP letter is got approved, your study worker, your postgraduate work permit time could be eligible from the beginning of your semester, not at the point when you got to your when you got your AIP letter.
Perfect, makes sense.
Yeah. So this is the difference under the COVID-19 situation.
Now, the next question that I have, and this is the last question, and then we'll open up for questions for the viewers to ask any important questions they have. But this one is more about the students who are actually coming here. So they got their visa within the time frame, their program is essential, they are coming here to take the classes. How will Northern College Fall 2020 quarantine work for an international student? What are the protocols, what they have to make sure, and how will that whole system work? Because they're still new here, they have to still be educated. So this is one of the questions for them who are dedicatedly coming here.
Okay, so for those who we had already issued the travel package, because they have to physically show up here, the travel package will include 3 documents. The first one will be the travel support letter, which indicates the students must physically show up here, and their program information. The second package is a quarantine plan for students who will choose to, join the Northern College on-campus quarantine information. The third package is the travel guidance, like before departure, what documents they need to prepare, what they need to download the Arrive Canada app to report their situation, so on, a long list. So this is the documents we issue to the students. Regarding to the 14 days quarantine, once students arrive in Timmins, they need to book the taxi. Yeah, they need to book a taxi actually before their departure. When they arrive, they will have the taxi directly to drive them to the Timmins campus residency, and they will directly start their 14 days quarantine on the campus. Our campus support staff will provide the necessities, grocery meals, to make sure, and monitor their situation to make sure they have the 14 days quarantine to complete our campus. No matter which campus they're going to study, they always need to arrive Timmins first.
Okay.
Yeah. So after the 14 days quarantine, they can go to the different campuses if they're fine. And with the new ministry requirement, all the students will be tested for the COVID-19 probably 4 or 5 days when they arrive at the campus to make sure they're fine.
So they have to book up a taxi before coming in, maybe call or email you guys and get that taxi booked. Coming to Timmins campus residency, no matter what campus they are going to, stay there for 14 days. All the necessities like food and shelter will be provided to them. Plus after 4 or day 5, I guess they have to go through a COVID test. And then from there, during that 14 days quarantine, they will be monitored that everything is all right. And after that, they can travel to their respective campuses, or maybe if they're a Timmins student, then they can go to whatever house they have decided for themselves to be staying in. And that's
yes. Yes, correct. But I want to add a few things here. The first thing is about the taxi booking. We put the detailed the apps they need to download and the taxi web link in their travel package. So ask them to go to download the app to book the taxi or go to the web link to book the taxi in advance. The second thing is, yes, so I want to emphasize that students, if you receive the package, you're going to travel to us, please send your flight information to us timely. And if there's any delay or change of your flight information, please update us because we really need to prepare for your arrival before you arrive the Timmins residency, you know.
So let's say if they're going on a flight, let's say, and this is an hypothetical situation, the flight goes from Mumbai to Dubai and from Dubai to Canada, and let's say the flight in the middle somewhere is getting delayed. How do they update you? Sending an email using the airport Wi-Fi, or how they are supposed to let you know that maybe my flight is 3 hours late or 2 hours late or something like that?
Yeah, we have the emergency contact information in the travel support letter, in the travel guidance, and in the quarantine letter. So you can just choose one of the contacts, send an email or the other contact information there to let us know. Yes, so this is the second thing. Yeah, I think that's it. So the timely report of their travel status is of critical importance to us. Yeah.
So for the students who are going to actually travel, make sure you have that travel package. You have all those necessary information with you guys. Make sure you're constantly updating us. What is the flight? What's the flight number? When you're leaving? Is the flight still on time? Book your taxi. Make sure you're at the residence. You have to take care of those things by yourself at that moment. You will always have an emergency contact number, but that would be just to inform where you are at this point. Maybe you can be at Dubai airport. You can use the Wi-Fi and just text and say, hey, I'm here at this point. The flight seems to be on time. When I arrive, I'll let you guys know so that we know that you students have made it here within the time frame that was been given and then within the expected time. And we are not worried about you guys. It's just very honest.
Yeah.
So now let's open up for our questions. So if you have any questions, I am pretty sure there are already a line of questions that Kara has already read it up for us. Any questions for Glenn? Because Glenn is almost about to go. If you can prioritize for Glenn first, because Edna is here for the whole
Sure.
day. Thank you.
So Glenn, you did cover this before, but if you could just let us know one more time, a student has a question about internet issues, what would they do in that scenario?
Well, I've been watching the chat. I see a couple of questions. One is about internet issues when they're taking an exam. Certainly if students are, or a test, if students are in a location where the internet is spotty, we would need to ensure that their professor, they need to let their professor of their course know that they are having challenges with internet issues. Honestly, exams that are administered through our Blackboard LMS, Learning Management System, are not heavy. They're not as heavy, and by heavy, I mean use a lot of bandwidth. This session today probably uses 100 times more bandwidth than what an exam would use coming through our LMS situation. So unless you have no internet, chances are you're not going to be unduly affected. However, if you thought you were going to be, you would need to make sure your instructor is aware of that and alternate arrangements would be made to the best of our ability.
Thank you.
I'll address one other question because I did see one in there about books. So every book that is used in every course here at the college with about 95% certainty is available on Amazon. Be they in your country, our country, Amazon.ca, Amazon.com, or whatever the version of Amazon is in India. So as long as you get the course outline, once you're in the course, you would see the edition of the textbook that is required. And in all likelihood, you could order it online if you wanted a print copy, but you could also get a digital copy. Every textbook we have here, again, about 95% of them are available in a digital copy. I did see one question asked, would we be sending out free PDF versions of the textbook? The answer to that is no, never, not going to happen. That would
I
be a
wish.
copyright, that's a copyright violation, and we would be fined heavily by the publishers. So no, we can't do that.
Yes. Thank you, Glenn. Any other question that you feel like, Kara, would be for Glenn?
I have quite a few for Edna, but I don't think any more here for Glenn.
All right, then. Well, listen, I wish everyone the best of luck, and I hope to see you here at the college as soon as you're able to get here.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Thanks, Glenn.
I know.
Okay.
Okay, Edna. So here we go. One student brought up the fact that there were some students that were in a business course and they did get entry into Canada. What is the reason behind that?
Well, for me, I'm not really sure. What I could see is that, well, you know, the Border Service Agency, first of all, as I said just before, that this is immigration regulation that your travel must be essential or discretionary. And but in practice, I mean, the Border Service Agency, they have a lot of people work there. Maybe for some reason, some students finally get in because their travel is non-essential. It might happen, but this is not a college decision to let you in or out. This is really, it's a final decision of the specific Border Service Agency. What the college can do is just to let you know the potential risk you are facing. We don't want you waste your money and the time, you book your flight and finally you are sent back to India again.
That's
So
true.
you need to know about the risk, and then you need to make the decision what you're gonna do, right? You can take the risk or not. Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's about worth it, right? Is it to kind of take that kind of risk? Because everything is available to you for a semester or so. Just take the program online, and when everything is okay, travel safe. It's dangerous out there. I know when I got my visa, I wanted to go the next day, to be very honest. But this is how it is. You're always excited about it. But the times are tough right now, and we have to just be more mature and make sure that you're doing the right steps in order to provide, prevent any of the harm that comes to you. Go ahead, Karen.
Yeah. As I just mentioned, like yesterday, we know that more than 20 students were sent back to their country when they just arrived in Toronto airport. So the situations vary. So it's hard to say you will be refused or not, right? So you need to make the decision. We just let you know the risk here.
Okay, the next question. So a student applied for their visa in March. They recently got their AIP letter. What would be their next step?
Again, he or she will need to check his program course. Which program is that one program on the list we just introduced, or the courses of his program will be offered online for September. If his courses will be offered online for September, then he can register online study for the September semester. Our registrar office just work out the procedures for online registration. So probably we'll send the information to students early next week, next Monday or Tuesday, regarding to how to register your course for September online or virtually from your own country. So once you complete the registration procedure, you will automatically got your class schedule, all the other important information, and then you can start your course or program study from your country on September 9th. It's our first day of program, the new semester, yeah.
Okay. All right, I think I have two more questions. So this one student is taking an essential program, H1360 PSW for September 2020. However, they're not exempted for travel restriction. How are they going to study this course as it's in person?
So for this situation, I totally understand because there is on-site part. I would say if you haven't, sorry, he received the AIP or not yet? Not yet, right? AIP.
They don't say.
Okay. So first of all, so because you are in PSW program, even you get your AIP, you won't be able to study this program online.
They haven't received it.
Okay, so if you haven't received it, my suggestion will be to consider to switch another different program if you really want to study, start in this fall. For example, business or the other programs which don't have the on-site requirements. Or another option will be they can consider to default their acceptance to winter 2021 or future intake, which the program will be available. So send an email to international@northern.on.ca. Send us your full name, your program information, your question. We will forward to different departments and they will get back to you. Yeah,
Okay.
but basically you have two options. Consider to switch another different program for September 2020, which courses will be offered totally online, or you can consider to default into a future intake.
Okay, last question. So the student is wondering about if they get a refusal in the second stage, will the college refund complete fees?
Yes, if they receive their AIP letter or the first stage letter, which allows them to study online, but finally they're refused in the second stage, the college will fully refund them.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's it.
So no more questions anymore, eh? All done?
Yeah, so any questions, send an email to international@northern.on.ca. But please understand, currently we really have a large volume of email every day. We're trying our best to get back to you as soon as possible.
So I would say when they email, at least wait for maybe 3 or 4 working days for processing that email, at least.
Yeah, and usually we will process those with high priority first, which urgent request. Like your question just now, not so urgent. I can let you know the options, but we will get back to you once you send an email to us. We'll try our best to get back to you as soon as possible.
So all the students, remember that international department is so busy right now because of all these restrictions and COVID-19 pandemic. So when you email, the best way to do is email once and wait for a little bit time, because if you email constantly and if there is repetition of the same email, it will just make difficult for them to process your request. So send an email with the best capability, whatever you want to ask. You can have multiple questions in one email too, and wait for them to kind of process it. And let's say 4 or 5 working days, nothing happens, send another one, and I'm 100% sure second time it will get answered for sure. It's just that the volume is too much and it takes a little bit more time to process it.
Sorry, Sumit, can I just add one more thing?
Yes, for sure.
I just want to emphasize to everyone, if you're considered, first of all, if you haven't received your AIP, you may be received later, so please update your AIP status or visa status in the first time when you receive your approval. Send an email to international and northern.on.ca. Let us know you got an AIP and confirm us that you're going to, study online for the September semester. This is important because we need to follow up to see how many students were going to study in which program. The second thing is that when you got your study visa, finally, like the second stage approval, again, send us, let us know in the first time. So we can send you all the other necessary information. Yes, and regarding to online registration, if you haven't received your AIP, as I said, you still have a chance to receive that. What you need to do is that you need to submit your application, your visa application, before September 15th, 2020, and try your best to submit all the required documents. That will help RCC to process your application in priority. So if you submit your application before September 15th, you can still register online, but let us know, confirm us that you want to study online, so we can send you the relevant information. Yeah, that's all.
Well, no more questions, I guess. It's safe to end now. Okay. Well, thank you everyone for joining in. Thank you, Edna. It was very helpful to talk to you. A lot of questions were answered today. I hope all of your questions are answered. If you still have any questions, you have those email addresses, you know what to do. Send us the information and we'll make sure that your questions are being answered. Again, make sure you also visit next week's webinar. It will be the same time from 1 to 2. That will be hosted by me again because Kara is going on a 2 weeks vacation. So next two
vacation.
next two webinars are on me completely, and I'm going to host it, co-host it. We'll see how it goes. Kara, I don't know how I'm going to do it, but we'll try the best. So, all right, guys, stay safe, stay connected. Thank you. See you next week. Have a good one.
Thank you for having me. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you, Edna. Bye.